Welcome to Boulder City City Council. We appreciate those that are watching on their TV screens, and we appreciate the people here coming. Madam City Clerk, posting and roll call, please.
Yes, thank you. The agenda was posted in accordance with Nevada open meeting law, and all members are present.
Thank you. We will now rise and for the invocation by Pastor Stephen Tomlinson of Grace Community Church, and will remain standing for the pledge. Thank you, Pastor.
Good evening, and just a quick word of introduction. I'm the new guy in town. I moved to Nevada April 15, became the pastor of Grace Community Church October 1, but I married a Boulder City girl in 1985. She graduated 81 from Boulder High School, so in some respects we've come home, and so it's nice to be here. Let us pray.
Thank you.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for each of us having the privilege to be in a meeting such as this. We understand the responsibility before us, and even as is posted on the wall, the four-way test, we pray that we would live these principles in how we conduct our business tonight. It reminds me, Lord, of the words of the Apostle Paul that he wrote in the letter to the Galatians, chapter 5, verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, long-suffering. Against such things there is no law. Father, we pray that this meeting would be conducted in a way that benefits and edifies the community of Boulder City. And we understand that awesome responsibility and privilege to be part of this meeting. And so, Lord, I close this prayer in my own tradition by saying, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Amen.
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 Remain standing. Please join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will have two announcements. Councilman Steve Walton will give the first announcement. Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. This is in relation to voter information. In 2021, the Nevada State Legislature passed bipartisan legislation, Assembly Bill 126, mandating that a presidential preference primary election be held for all major political parties on the first Tuesday in February of each presidential election year, if more than one qualified candidate files a declaration of candidacy. Starting in 2024, Nevada will have a presidential preference primary on February 6th, 2024. Only voters who are registered as Democrat or Republican may vote in this election. Major parties are responsible for how they select their nominee for president. The Republican Party will be holding a caucus on February 8th, 2024. The Democratic Party is not holding a caucus. For more information on how the presidential preference primary or caucus impact the presidential candidate delegate selection, please contact, and you can see the screens wherever you're viewing, please contact the Democratic and or Republican parties directly. And those are the contact numbers and website information therein. The phone numbers for the Nevada Republican Party are 702-820-4700 and 702-586-2000. And their website is listed on there, www.nevadagop.org. The phone number for the Nevada Democratic Party is 702-737-8683, and their website is www.nvdems.com. And again, you can see that on your screen. The Clark County Election Department will conduct the presidential preference primary. Like all elections in Nevada, it will be an all-mail ballot election. In-person voting options will still be available during early voting and on Election Day. For more information, Visit the Clark County Election Department webpage at www.clarkcountynv.gov/elections. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. We have another announcement from a former councilman, Fritz McDonald, member of the Rifle and Gun Club, and we appreciate his timely entrance.
Fritz McDonald, resident and treasurer of the Boulder Rifle and Pistol Club. I wanted to come back and give you guys an update as to our membership drive that we had this last weekend. We were kind of having an underestimate at about 50, maybe 75 folks, thinking that a lot of the individuals that had reached out to individual board members, folks like yourself, maybe have overlapped. And a lot of folks maybe had double tapped there. Myself, I presented and prepared for over 300 folks. And good thing we did, because we had over 200 Boulder City residents not only apply, approve, go through the orientation that day, wait in line, and then collect their membership card. Within minutes after, and many probably have the question, when is the next one? I have fielded over 25, maybe 30 questions about that. I think the city has, the chamber has. So to give you, the board has decided to come back and assess the attrition from 2023, along with this Boulder City resident drive, and then we will be assessing it. It is on our February agenda to assess additional, but at this time. But I wanted to give you guys an update that we had over 200 folks turn out. So it was an amazing thing, and more to follow on that. So thank you guys very much for everything.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. We will now have public comment, and public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action, and each person has up to 5 minutes to speak on a specific agenda item. Any other public comment that's not on the agenda will be at the end of the meeting. Madam City Clerk, anything else on that public comment?
No written comments were received for this portion of the agenda.
And nobody on the line? Please come forward. And if you want to call in to make a public comment, 702-589-9629. Thank you. If you can go ahead and introduce yourself and say your comments.
Hi, my name's Bryn Delormier, and I just wanted to say thank you for hearing my application again for the Historic Preservation Commission. I appreciate it, and I'd also like to recommend George Reeve for the UAC as well, who I think is being heard tonight. So that's all I had to say. I'll keep it short. Thanks. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Would like to come forward or on the phone line, 702-589-9629. Nothing on the phone line. We will close public comment, and we have for action approval of the regular agenda. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, for the regular agenda, I would like to request that item number 5 be removed.
Okay, number 5. So I'll take a motion to approve the regular agenda with number 5 being removed.
Move to approve the regular agenda with number 5 being removed.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Unanimous. Thank you. And then for possible action, approval for the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion approved. Thank you. The consent agenda has been approved. We'll move to the regular agenda, and we have a presentation by our Public Works Director that will be timely but not timeless.
Exactly.
If you could point out where you stand on this organizational chart, too.
I will when I approach it.
Okay.
Okay. So good afternoon, Mayor Hardy and council members. I'd like to present to you the Public Works Annual Update. What is Public Works, and why is it important to the city of Boulder City? Our Public Works team plays a crucial role in the functionality, aesthetic, and overall development of our city. I'm frequently asked, what is Public Works? So I'd like to highlight what makes our Public Works Department so important. Infrastructure development and maintenance. The Public Works Department maintains essential infrastructure such as roads, bridges, sidewalks, pedestrian safety, and public facilities. Fleet. We facilitate all programs and processes associated with our city fleet. Water, sewer, and electrical systems. Our engineering department and project management team oversee all capital improvement projects for our utilities department. This allows Joe and his team to continue delivering quality service to the public. Emergency response and preparedness. There are many things that warrant an emergency response. We are directly involved in the operational and logistical efforts that address any emergency that may affect our city's infrastructure. Community development. Through collaboration with community development, we ensure that city permitted projects adhere to all codes, statutes, and industry standards. Environmental stewardship. Every day we embrace the responsibility for care and protection of the environment through conservation efforts. Public safety. Public Works collaborates with the other agencies to implement measures that enhance the safety of our residents during events or emergencies. As you can see, our Public Works Department is essential to Boulder City's infrastructure, and we're extremely proud of that. Our city's beautiful appeal. So our team takes pride in overseeing the installation and the upkeep of our city's infrastructure. In our community, we are fortunate to have access to multiple funding sources through local and national agencies. These agencies help fund our city projects with little or no impact to our city's budget. Funds from the Regional Transportation Commission, or RTC, make it possible for us to preserve, repair, or reconstruct our arterial roadways, perform as-needed maintenance and repairs to our recreational trails, and focus on pedestrian safety, including installation and repairs of our sidewalks, streetlights, and ADA upgrades. The Regional Flood Control District funds all projects defined in our Boulder City Stormwater Master Plan. Aside from fully funding stormwater projects, they award $500,000 annually to Boulder City for maintenance and upkeep of our regional facilities. Through this funding and adoption of our MPU, we've lessened the impacts of flooding throughout our community. Federal funding, such as the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, of 2021, provided a unique opportunity for our city to make strategic investments in long-lived assets during a period of uncertainty. The influx of capital strengthened our budget reserves, operating shortfalls, and allowed us to continuously engage in projects until economic conditions or operations normalized. At times, the Redevelopment Agency, or RDA, has given the extra boost needed for public works projects. Through the RDA investments, we're breathing new life into areas needing revitalization, economic development, or an infrastructure upgrade. As a result, RDA-funded projects are stimulating community investment and job creation, improving quality of life, and strengthening our regional identity, all of which contributes to our local pride. Through the State Historic Preservation Office, or SHPO, the Commission for Cultural Centers and Historic Preservation has awarded Boulder City funding to assist in the preservation of one of our oldest facilities, the water filtration building on Railroad Avenue. Lastly, our city's own capital improvement plan. Thanks to you, our city council, and our residents for approving the CIP annually. As a result, we've maintained, updated, and reconstructed our city's infrastructure, preserving our status as one of the best places to live, work, and visit within the United States. I wanted to show here how, in 2023, our projects were funded. So there were 23 projects externally funded this year. 6 were fully completed. 9 are currently in a design phase. 2 are continual maintenance and improvement projects, which are annually funded through RTC and our regional flood control for maintenance. And 6 have already been given a notice to proceed. In 2023, the RTC allocated $18 million towards interlocal contracts for Boulder City-related projects. This past year, one of my goals was to review our interlocal contracts between Boulder City and the RTC. The process is comprised of making changes to funding structure and the creation of a new interlocal contract specifically designed for pavement preservation. It's crucial to ensure that all the allocated funds are used effectively and efficiently in order to address the fluid needs of our community. In 2023, there were 15 interlocal agreements in place that we analyzed and restructured. This also afforded us the opportunity to close out our old contracts, refine funding structure to reallocate $4 million towards that pavement preservation project. On average, the Clark County Regional Flood Control District approves $500,000 annually for our maintenance program. But this year, we requested an additional $418,000 in allocation due to the shifting focus from building and constructing to maintenance and cleaning. One of our projects is the Avenue I Storm Drain Improvement Project. The goal of this design is to add additional stormwater infrastructure to intercept and capture the flows that overwhelm the existing infrastructure leading to Avenue G and 7th Street. Second project is Wells Drive Levee Lining. It's a tongue twister. For the Wells Drive levee lining, our intention here is to add concrete lining to an existing unlined channel to strengthen the facility against erosion, providing increased protection for development downstream. Here are the projects that were funded through ARPA in 2023. As you can see, very aware of some of them. Lend a Hand facility is doing amazing things. We were actually very pleased to be involved with that. The Vets Dog Park, all the way down, municipal golf course irrigation upgrade, which we are currently in the final stages of design so we can present. We have the city clerk and attorney's office, the area remodel, which turned out really well. And the fire department training facility, which we just got approval from the fire department for their grading plan. Now the facility itself is currently in manufacturing, and once they get it here, we'll be able to put it onto the grounds and have them working in their fire training facility. So we are very aware and focused on completing all of these ARPA projects by the timeline 2026. There's a handout here tonight in the back of the room that shows the areas included in the pavement preservation plan. The project has been awarded and will begin soon. So these are some of the projects that carried over from 2023 that are currently underway. We have the City Hall parking lot and ADA upgrades. The in-house design, which I'll get to in a little bit, have been finalized and are awaiting our city engineer review. The historic water filtration facility that I spoke of before that SHPO was funding or helping assist to fund. We've completed the repointing of the bricks, clean up the mortar, adjust the fascia, and just put the asbestos abatement RFP out for bid yesterday. The fire department training facility, like I said, the structure is being built. The rough timeline is 6 to 8 months before they can actually access and use it, but our goal is to beat that timeline. Cemetery expansion grading design. Because of our annual average plot sales, we've begun the process of expanding the cemetery plots available. We're currently in the preliminary design stages for grading out the entire parcel. My plan is to design a comprehensive grading plan that would be constructed over the phases over the years or as needed. Department highlights. As we go into our department highlights, first thing I want to point out is that our staff is amazing. They are hard workers, true professionals. I'm very proud and blessed to work with each one of them every day. They are not only great employees, but they're great people that actually care about our city. This is our Public Works organizational chart. You can see that there's 38 current staff members, most of them under operations, and the rest split between engineering and our new area project management. Facility maintenance. To start off, Dave Stanton and our building maintenance team is always ready for the daily workload and prepared when changes come at a moment's notice, and they happen quite frequently. Here are some of the highlights, but by no means this is all that they do. They are an integral part on our everyday operations. The council chamber remodel, which looks fantastic. The water division renovations, such as the shop break room upgrade, remodeled the water treatment plant restroom, and added an additional safety shower for the water department. Miscellaneous projects include HVAC, Kyle doing a great job with the R22 replacement upgrades and continual maintenance. Andy in plumbing, trying to better our water efficiency through faucets and other ideas that he's presenting to handle that. Construction, painting, and electrical. Eric, Tom, and Brad are doing a fantastic job with daily maintenance, remodel renovation projects, updating multiple rooms in the public workshop, and moving furniture anytime you ask. And the one person I cannot forget is Brandon, who has been amazing. He's a single guy who is run rampant and takes care of all of our electric needs. A couple other things, airport hangar repairs, continual maintenance on hangar doors, and repairs as needed for new leases. And City Hall improvements, large and small conference rooms. They've been doing little things here and there, which become an overall thing, and it really makes a difference in those rooms. Landscape. Water conservation and environmental awareness are paramount to our landscape division. Sergio and his team do a great job when it comes to keeping our city as green as allowable and in golf course ready condition. Staff play a huge role in water conservation projects, such as we're currently testing new irrigation controllers. We've replaced 6 new master valves and installed new pressure regulators, all giving us the more management and control over our irrigation system and output. You can also see that at Wyoming area and Broadmoor area that we took out vegetation and irrigation and replaced them with decorative boulders, metal art, and fabricated plants, which looks quite amazing. And then we have streets. Anytime I call Tim and his staff, I'm not kidding, they're almost done before I hang up the phone. They are fantastic. Some of their duties that they've taken on have been perform sidewalk repair and replacements, ADA upgrades and repairs, necessary roadway repairs, repaint red and yellow zones, installed visual sidewalks at new locations to include Adams and Buchanan, and we're currently working on Wyoming and Avenue B. Maintenance of all clear, they're the ones who take care of all the maintenance and cleaning of our regional flood control facilities. Made upgrades to Bristlecone flood control area, and I can't forget our 2 fleet technicians, John and Dave, who not only have an astronomical task every day of making sure our equipment is always running, but they are now tackling our fire department equipment and police department vehicles. And they do it willingly. There's never a complaint or question. They go ahead and just handle it. Engineering. This is where it all starts. from design to management. We achieved in-house savings through hiring an experienced project manager, Shane Cunningham, who has been doing an incredible job orchestrating our projects. We created an in-house CAD designer position for Mike Grimes to put his talents on full display, and with both of these positions, it's already starting to pay dividends. We're seeing it already. For a couple examples, in project management, we've reduced the cost of project management overseeing the golf course estates paving, and the saving for our design costs are going to be seen in the City Hall paving and ADA upgrades. Mike has handled that all in-house, which saved us a ton of money to be able to focus it more on the project. Restructured responsibilities. So we've realigned staff daily tasks and responsibilities to mirror their current positions and job descriptions. This has allowed for increase in efficiency and productivity. Permitting updates. Some of our refinements were to Title IX to further streamline city's permitting application processes, such as the right-of-way permit application. The extended obstruction permit expiration, we've lengthened that from 7 to 14 days. And we also are collaborating with community development to update an antiquated code within our Title 11, Chapter 39. And last but not least, as the mayor mentioned the other night, our famous Ram Cam. We had a hand in all that, so that's becoming world famous now. So, here's some pictures of some of what we just discussed. Our ABC sewer projects from last year, the shade structures on Boulder City Parkway, and the trailhead, Lend-A-Hand, and the dog park. Here are some of our metrics for permitting, reviews, and inspections. There were a large amount of permits this year due to the underground communication projects underway. Our goal is to always get the initial application for permitting out as soon as possible, with a maximum limit of 2 weeks. There are challenges to that, though. Sometimes the reviews go smooth, sometimes they don't. Our goal is to always be better and less of a burden on the application process. This goal is also in the purview of our new project coordination group that helps projects move through faster. It's a group that I'll discuss in a little bit, but we meet twice a month. Sometimes we have stuff on our agenda, sometimes we don't, but our goal is to solve the issue there so that people can move on, or projects can move on. In 2023, we saw 342 permits processed, 331 plan reviews, and 454 project permitted inspections. Now that we're fully staffed in engineering and admin department, my goal is to keep more of our design, inspections, and project management in-house. Safety consultation and training section, or SCATS, is a courtesy inspection offered through OSHA. We plan on having them come out as often as possible so we can constantly be up to date and better ourselves in our OSHA standards. We've scheduled an asphalt paving expert, Michael Dunning, to teach a series of asphalt classes to our staff regarding industry material assessment and processes. And you will have firsthand knowledge of Michael. I have him coming to one of our council meetings to do a little presentation for us. In 2023, we sold 44 cemetery lots and have started the grading plan expansion, as I spoke of. Public Works staff prepared 7 funding contracts and were approved or amended by City Council this year. City Works will be going live by February. The scheduled date currently is the 29th. All affected departments have been collectively working together to see that that is a successful launch. It's going to create our permit and application process, make it a little more efficient. The project review team has been meeting for years as a melting pot for what's happening with private and public projects, and has been very informative and helpful and successful. But we needed to create a group, as I spoke of, that would move ongoing projects forward. So we created the Private Project Coordination Group. This group meets every 2 weeks and it consists of only those that have the authority to solve perpetual problems that are keeping projects from moving forward. On the private side, the customer side, they need to also have responsibility and bring all the people in charge that can make decisions for their project as well, so we can resolve things there. When this group leaves this meeting, they will have all the answers, or they will at least know what direction to go to. Our reimbursements processed through partner agencies this year have been just over $1 million. These are the committees and the work groups that I either sat on or chaired in 2023. These are all important committees and work and groups, but I'd like to highlight the Boulder City ADA Work Group. We meet once a month with the goal of compiling recommendations to our city manager regarding ADA awareness and city accessibility. We have had such great guest speakers, such as RTC's Director of Paratransit, Antoinette Braddock, and we had the Silver Riders Director of Operations, Anna Talamo. I apologize. Every session, we are very excited to discuss the future of Boulder City's accessibility improvements and transition plan. Finally, our department's vision. My vision for our team is simple. Never be rigid, stay fluid and organic. Treat everyone as you would want to be treated, with fairness and integrity. Be a good human, respect each other, help each other, love and care for our families, colleagues, and our community. Create a work culture that promotes growth, nurtures compassion, understanding and professionalism. Deliver transparency, efficiency, and a smile to our community. Work collaboratively with our local funding agencies until they throw me out of their office, which they have done before. Continue to evaluate departmental processes regularly and see what we can improve on. Most of all, I want us to leave Boulder City and our environment better than the day we found it. Thank you for your time. I truly appreciate all of you and everything you've done for the city, so I'm here for questions and comments.
Any comments or questions? Go ahead.
I'll start first. That way I don't end up at the end where everyone's already said what might be said. Just a couple of things that stood out to me. First off, there's a lot that goes on and a lot of people that make it happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Kind of as the mayor said at the State of the City, working together is what makes the difference. And I loved your vision statement. It was, as I was listening to it, positive, proactive, and action-oriented. And I loved that it included the personal and the public, because these are real people who work for us, and hopefully a lot of them live here also. So with all these different areas, I know that you talked about the cemetery expansion. You said you sold 44 lots this year. Is that a rise in number, or is it a pretty steady number?
On average, it seems to be a pretty steady number. It's just the reason for the grading is because we're running out of plots in the upcoming years. So we need to move forward with grading so we can start having more available plots.
Area. And how much more area do we have available to us?
Quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the exact acreage, but it's quite a bit.
So we're not in danger.
No.
There doesn't need to be everyone running out to get their
No.
plots just in case, okay?
No.
The other thing that really stood out to me, and I'm kind of excited about, is CityWorks going live and streamlining the process. I know first time I ran that a lot of people had comments about the permitting process. They would stop me wherever I was, and I haven't gotten as many. So I really think the group that you're meeting with, you're being so proactive in this area. I'm excited and with anything new that goes live, there might be a glitch or two, but I think in the long run, this will benefit us and it will change the process for us. So I'm very excited about that. And love the ADA work that you're doing. It's a little bit near and dear to my heart too, and just making sure that we are accessible for all visitors and for everyone who comes into our community. So also wanted to point out, you said water conservation, and I do believe, Mr. Tedder, that you said that we were in the valley the largest percentage of water conserved percentage-wise this year, the community?
That's my understanding. It was 12% year over year.
12%. Job well done. And I'm appreciative of all that you do to keep it running and doing it well. And to all the people that do it with you, please go back and tell them, thank you.
I will. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to you and Public Works. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to say I was able to go to the Christmas party this year, and I met some of the people that work for you. And I really want to say a shout out to Aaron and Shane. They sweep the street, and I just really enjoy talking to them. Great representatives of Boulder City.
Yeah.
And I just think your team does a great job of manicuring our lawns. I mean, we just look amazing when you drive around town. Our buildings and our parks and everything look so wonderful. So I want to thank the team that does that. And I also like the idea of working with the different parties that have a stake in it so that they can make good decisions and we're not sending people back and forth. And I look forward to seeing that improving and advancing as we move forward.
Sure.
So thank you, Jamie, for a great job, and appreciate the presentation.
Thank you.
Just have a question or two. Does the Public Works Department contract out for any of your permit reviews, like community
At
development?
times, yes.
Okay, and those are local providers, they're not employees of
Yeah,
Boulder
they're
City,
local contract,
City of Boulder City?
local engineers,
Right.
engineering firms, yeah.
Are they, sometimes the people that we use from the Community Development Department that have dual or multiple areas of expertise that can do multiple
I don't
types of
think
permits?
we've actually done it where we've shared it with the community development. We have our own, because it's a bit of a different field, but yeah. Yeah, I don't think we actually share with the community development. We work together, like if there's projects or permitting or design or something that they have questions on or we have questions on, we bounce stuff off of each other.
Great. Thank you. I think City Works is one of those things we've been, plugging along with for a while and hoping it would be live by X date, by Y date, by Z date, and now it's February. So the anticipation is it's going to allow for a lot more streamlined processes for permitting and for feedback to applicants, and hopefully improve the customer service angle to what we're already doing. So,
Yeah, we didn't want to put something out that wasn't ready.
and that's a citywide, right, that can be used by multiple departments.
Correct.
It's not just Public Works. If you could repeat your vision without looking at your notes again by memory, I appreciate that.
It's about caring about people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know what, that's really, really what it comes down to.
Sure.
Caring and about people. And we do what we do because all of our residents matter and their endeavors matter.
Yes.
And thank you. And our employees matter. And having, been an employee of such of the city over the years and interacted in different capacities other than this current capacity, your staff is awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope they're listening, or I hope they get the word. Every single one, from A to Z and from every division within it, they're just fantastic, and we really do appreciate them and the work they do and the efforts that they give. And I haven't seen anybody just do the bare minimum. They're always going above and beyond.
100%.
And and that comes from great leadership. So from our city manager to our department heads to their staff, it's recognized and appreciated. So again, I think we've all made a comment on that. I'll just echo that and stop right there. One additional question, in the PPCG, what's that stand for?
PPCG.
Your private project coordination group.
Oh,
It's government. You got to have
Sorry.
an acronym.
I'll know it from here on out.
The applicant is invited to that group then, as I understand your explanation.
So the applicant, whoever it may be, whoever their line is to us, they can utilize that. So
Whether
it's-
it's a
we don't have
contractor
one
or-
designated person. If they're talking to Skip or if they're talking to Chris, or if they're talking to Michael or Lee, and they feel as though that we're at a standstill, that person they're discussing with can reach out to myself or Shannon Ryman, and we set it up. And they have to bring all the things, and we bring our stuff to the table. So it's not one person. It can be anybody within the city that feels as though this is the right avenue for them to resolve their problems.
So we are having at least either all or parts of that group representation meet with the applicant who might be having an obstacle in some fashion and having that person.
Yeah,
sit down.
we're all the same people in that room. So it doesn't change per applicant.
Okay.
It's always going to be myself, city engineer, community development, fire. Sometimes we have representation of police, but there's always someone in there. We know going in there what we're getting into, so we try to prepare so that answers are there for them.
And do you have, and I don't want you to share the examples necessarily, but have you noticed when we've initiated that particular part of this that the process has become more streamlined, more effective? We've met the needs of the applicants better and quicker and resolved any concerns?
Yes, sir. Our biggest to-date client has been St. Jude's. So we've met with them multiple times because the emails and texts are not working. So we stop and we set up a meeting for that group, and then every single time they've left, there's an understanding. So yeah, it's we've seen it, and we've also had a couple that have come to that meeting, presented their ideas, and found out that it's not good to go further, so they stop.
Fair enough. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Before you, go home and feel like everybody is just giving you accolade after accolade, I have to mention that you told us to be human and then showed a slide of a ram.
Well, they're part of the community, sir.
Okay,
They are the animal side of us.
okay. You're smooth. Good job. So for those of us who aren't feeling well, can we buy our seminary plot in advance?
Yes, sir.
And so the opening up of that area will probably be able to have some help with that process of funding the
Yeah.
increased area.
And one of the things we were trying to do with the grading is, because currently the plots are only situated a certain way. So we wanted to open up different area, or look into open up different areas, maybe for plots that need to face other ways than the current layout.
And
So-
do we do anything with the mausoleum or the, do we
Not
do-
that I'm aware of.
okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful presentation. We appreciate the people who work with you and for you and around you, and we're grateful for what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members.
Thank you. With that, we appreciate the presentation. We've taken number 5 off of the agenda, which brings us to item number 6, appointments to A, Historic Preservation Commission, and B, Utility Advisory Committee. So I would open up for nominations for Historic Preservation Commission. Are there nominations for that?
Mr.
I'll
Mayor?
nominate Gary Dahlia.
Okay. Councilman Walton.
I would like to nominate Mrs. O'Shaughnessy. If I could find her name in here. Donna O'Shaughnessy, because she has a home in the historic area, and I'm a firm believer that if you're going to make rules about historic properties, that you should have a home in the historic area. That's why I'm nominating her.
Okay. And Councilman Walton.
I nominate Valerie McNay.
Any other nominations? So we have one position, as I recall, Madam City Clerk.
That's correct. There's one position to fill an unexpired term that would end August 31st, 2024.
So this will be a shorter appointment, and we will need to have a majority of the council approve a person to be appointed to that position on the
Mr.
historic.
Mayor, if I might, if there are no more nominations, somebody will need to move to close nominations.
I will accept such a
I
motion.
move to close the nominations.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, discussion. And all those in favor of closing nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. It's unanimous to close nominations. So in the order of, and I'll just call for a vote. May I, one by one? Yes. Okay. So all those in favor of Gary Dahlia?
Aye. Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Okay. And all those in favor of Donna O'Shaughnessy?
Aye.
Aye.
Did I hear Mayor and Booth? Any others? And Jorgensen.
And all those in favor of Valerie, and you can only vote for one person.
That's an aye.
Okay. And it appears that we have a majority for Donna O'Shaughnessy with 3. And is it appropriate, Madam City Clerk, to ask if we can have that by acclamation?
No, it wouldn't be by acclamation.
I tried. So we will appoint Donna O'Shaughnessy as the member of the Historic Preservation Commission until later this year. And that opens up the Utility Advisory Committee and for nomination, and I would nominate Randall Lemos. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate George Ree.
George Ree. Any other nominations? I would accept a motion to close nominations.
Move to close nominations.
A second?
Second.
Seconded, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that we will have the vote then for Randall Lemos, aye.
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 And that's 4 people. And for George Ree,
Aye.
1. And it seems that 4 is more than 1. And that would mean Randall Lemos would be appointed to the Utility Advisory Committee. Do I need to do anything else on that?
No, I would just say for the public's sake, this appointment is to fill an unexpired term ending June 1st, 2024.
Okay, so noted. And that brings us to the city manager's financial report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Tonight's city manager's report related to the financial report, I just have 2 items that I wanted to mention to you. The ARPA listing in this report reflects the reallocation that you did in December related to the pickleball courts funding. And then as a handout this evening, we have the quarterly financial status report. This shows you where we were at related to revenues and expenditures as of December 31st, 2023. So that's the end of our second quarter of our fiscal year. And you'll probably note that our C-tax, the consolidated tax, that second quarterly payment does not come in until after the quarter's over. So it's not reflected in there. But I'm here for any questions you may have.
Any questions? Give us a moment to look and ponder. This is very well done, city manager. Appreciate that. Any questions or comments? With that, we will accept the report. I would move that we accept the report.
There's no action on this.
No action. We have had it, and thank you.
Thank
And
you.
While you're standing up there, could you do number 8, report
will.
claims paid?
Item number 8 is the claims paid report. This is just the listing of all the claims that we paid as of December 31st, and there's nothing of note, but I stand for any questions you may have.
Any questions? No questions. Thank you,
Thank you.
City Manager. And that will bring us to public comment, and anyone can speak on any topic and either come forward or call in or have written in, and they may take up to 5 minutes on any topic. And if you could identify yourself, name, and then help us.
Hi, my name is Susan Reams, and I'm here to address slumlords, landlords that fail to maintain their buildings. I was evicted today, though I feel that it was no fault of my own. I reside at 805 Nevada Way, which could be a really cute building. And the reason I'm bringing this topic up is because it's very serious. My landlord was recently 2 months behind in paying his garbage bill, which affects the whole neighborhood, not only one building. My previous neighbor, unfortunately, had to go to emergency aid for assistance, and the unit next to mine was rented. Although it had no water or heat, the elderly gentleman had to sleep on a mattress on the floor. Unfortunately, there was a water leak, and he was hospitalized for a month, which I don't believe anyone should have to go through that. There's mold, electrical issues, rats, and I know, Koki, you and I are animal lovers. Poor rat. However, my dog caught it, and I had to take both my beloved pets to the vet, where they had to be monitored for 2 weeks due to various rat diseases, which really stressed me out, and I'm still upset about it. There's water leaks, which someone's going to get hurt because that water leak is in the the laundry room, and it hasn't been fixed. So again, I appreciate your time in listening to this. Slumlords have become a very serious issue, and I think that it should be addressed, and landlords should be mandated to take care of their properties. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, appreciate it. Anyone on the phone line, Madam City Clerk?
No one on the phone line.
Okay. So we appreciate public comment and recognize that when we have public comment, you're addressing the whole council as a council, not individuals on the council. We appreciate those who would like to come forward at this time. Again, and continue public comment, you have up to 5 minutes. Identify yourself, please.
My name is Paul Kramer. Paul Kramer. I live in across from where all those beautiful sheep are. And I was here 2 weeks ago, and I asked a question about whether or not the city council has done anything to prepare for when illegal aliens are going to be dropped off here. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Since that time, I've spoken with the city manager and with Mr. Walton. And basically, it's like everybody's just doing, we don't know. 2 weeks ago, I was curious. Now I'm concerned, because if nothing has been happened in 2 weeks on a relatively simple issue, when is it going to happen? That's a question. It's not rhetorical.
In public comment, we have certain rules that Nevada revised statutes holds us to, so we are not allowed to have dialogue with the person who's giving public comment. So you have a legitimate question, we are not allowed to respond to that question.
Is my question not legitimate?
I am not having a discussion.
Sir?
Okay, where do I
you're-
go? What do I do to get answers?
You're welcome to contact the city clerk's office that can put you in touch with the council members outside of a council meeting. But public comment is a time for you to express your thoughts and opinions. You may ask questions as well, but the city council generally does not engage in dialogue with public commenters.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Good evening, council, mayor, city staff. I'm just here to talk about the airport, but
You
since
could
the,
identify yourself, sir.
no, I believe in the rules and regulations, and I don't have to identify myself.
Okay.
That's part of my issue with the city is we don't abide by the rules here. We do what we want to do, and that's the issue I have. The issue I have with the City Works, it sounded to me like everything's wonderful. Although the City Works truck, I believe it was a City Works truck, back in the day, not too long ago, was servicing the restroom at the airport, and that truck ran into a helicopter, which wasn't brought up during the discussion. So that's a concern of mine, is who's cleaning the bathroom at the airport, and has the person been properly trained on how to drive a truck around aircraft? What I came here to speak about was a letter I got from the city manager recently in regards to emails that I had written to you guys and the city staff in regards to fire department and fire inspections. I recently had the fire inspector come by the hangar. He found an issue with a paint booth that we had purchased. It was our second paint booth. And I sent a letter out today in regards to the letter that the city manager had sent to me. If we're really concerned about people and property and what we just discussed earlier, because I heard all you guys say it, that's the priority of this town, how can a paint booth be something that is just basically tagged as not safe and deemed, get it out of here? And the day that I got the letter from this guy, I drove down the ramp, and my neighbors are outside their hangar with a paint gun painting panels. They don't have any paint booths. You know, they're not getting inspected. They're just out there free willy, just painting out in the air, and my paint booth is illegal. My second paint booth. The reason I got the second paint booth is because the first paint booth is too big, and sometimes I need to paint smaller parts. So I spent $25,000 on a paint booth, and this is the same fire inspector that came by a year ago for PlaneSense. The new operator at the airport. Everybody loves them. They got 3 hangars. They've done all kinds of improvements to the hangars. You guys own the hangars. I spent $10 million building them, and they belong to you guys. Who else in the city does that? Just, here's $10 million, city. So the problem I have is the guy come to the airport, he looks at PlaneSense's new improvements, $700,000 of improvements in a hangar, and what does the fire inspector do? He says they can't bring an aircraft into the hangar with fuel in it. Totally absurd. Every hangar down there has an airplane in it with fuel in it. And what happens? The city manager runs down there, and they get together and decide, oh, it's okay. So what was a violation is no longer a violation. Same thing happened to my fuel trailers. I got cited by this same guy. The trailers aren't legal. 2 years later, they are legal. Nothing was done to the trailers, no modifications, nothing. They're illegal, then they're legal. Now I have a paint booth down there. Every time this guy shows up, I was told by the city manager to be professional, because you guys know my tone in those emails are not nice, because I'm very upset. I've got $10 million invested at the airport, and the fuel trailers, I had $500,000 invested. Okay, in this paint booth, I got $25,000 invested. I'm not buying a paint booth, to make you happy. I'm doing it for my business and for my employees and for the city people that come by and inspect it. When this inspector was at my facility this last time for this paint booth and for the whole facility, my manager asked him, there's a clause in the sublease. You have to give us notice. You can't just show up. For 17 years, he's come by my place, never given notice, according to my sublease. According to your city manager here, he doesn't have to. It's in the city policies. Well, I dug through those. I couldn't find anything that states a guy from the city can come onto my property that I'm paying for $20,000 a month. 20 grand a month is what is my rent, more than all the other FBOs combined. Okay, I'm paying that money to you guys. This guy comes by and tells my manager that if he was to give us 3 days' notice to inspect our property, that we would hide stuff. This guy's inspected us for 17 years and we've never hid one thing. What gives him the right to do that, to say that to us? We've never hidden anything. This gentleman is a detriment to this city, a detriment to my company, and I am very upset at the fact that the city manager will not rein him in. Right now, I have a paint booth for $25,000. This guy told me it's not good in this building, but you put it in that building. What's the difference? It wasn't even in use when he was there. There is so much wrong with what's going on. I mean, I am a person who likes safety. I've aviated for 40 years as a pilot and as a mechanic. Am I done? Okay. Anyway,
Appreciate it.
I'm asking for some help. Please rein these guys in, get that fire marshal guy in control, fire inspector, and help me out. I've got big investments at the airport, and I have done nothing but good by this city from day one. Just
Thank
around
you.
the corner is the Super Bowl, and we'll be busy as can be, and none of you guys will even know what's even going on down there.
Thank
But I
you.
can just shut it down and do nothing if I want to.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment? Please come forward.
Okay, hello, Mayor, council members. My name is Norma Valley, and I'm here to publicly comment on how the city brought some bad caucus voting information to the public and what we should see happen next to make sure this never happens again. Not to beat a dead caucus horse, but I've already sent a letter to the city manager, briefly spoke with him in person, and I received a letter back from him with correction updates that I'm very grateful for. I really am. But I believe that this matter warrants public comment. To sum up, the city announced starting 2024 there would be a PPP instead of a presidential caucus. This is false. This erroneous information was published online, in a mailer, in a magazine, in the newspaper. It was an assumption made by someone that the PPP would replace the caucus, which is not true. Perhaps that was the intention of the state government when the PPP was mandated, but indeed not the reality. There was dire need for retractions of these statements. When facts are wrong, a proper retraction states the facts that were wrong, and the correct facts are then given. This isn't initially what happened. For example, the correction, quote unquote, press release didn't come out and say what they did and said was wrong, or cite the multiple places this wrong information was announced. Instead, the verbiage used was, since that time, it has come to our attention, etc., as if it were recent public information. Meanwhile, the caucus was publicly announced last summer. Be that as it may, since that time, I do want to thank the city so much for all of the efforts being made to correct the caucus information out there, even today. But alas, the damage was done and bad information still remains out there. But let's look on the bright side. This misinformation did shine a light on a flaw in the city's public political informational policy. My hope is that the chaos this error created will motivate the city to review and revise how political information is gathered, interpreted, and disseminated to the public. Who in the city is fact-checking political information? Is there a person or committee making sure conclusions aren't being assumed when interpreting statutes and bills, for example? Allow me to quote a scene from the 70s comedy series, The Odd Couple, when Felix Unger warns never to assume, because when you assume, you make an ass of you and me. Which leads me to the elephant in the room, or should I say the donkey and elephant. As stated in the press release, the city does not have a role in political parties, rules, or decisions. This policy was explained to me by the city clerk as part of the reason why the city could not provide public information about the Republican caucus. Just today, the city manager said in a letter back to me that this matter couldn't go on the council agenda today because it's, in quotes, not city business. Well then, whose business is it? I believe the city would far better serve all of its citizens if it took an all-partisan approach, meaning when it comes to major political information, such as a presidential nominee vote, for the clarity, for the avoidance of public confusion, the city should be a source of accurate, trustworthy, all-partisan information. Something as simple as stating the 2024 Nevada PPP and caucus will be held on February 6th, February 8th, respectively. That's simple. That's what should have been said from the beginning. Please know that while I am a proud chairperson of Boulder City Republican Women, I would still defend this all-partisan role for our city. It's the American way. In closing, I believe that especially in today's divisive political climate, if the city were to adopt this all-partisan position for news and updates, it would serve as a shining example of a local government that's putting its residents' informational needs above this sanctimonious, hands-off party policy currently in place. The city of Boulder City would show Nevada how a local government builds informational bridges with its residents, not chasms, no matter what political affiliation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other people would like to come forward and participate in public comment or call 702-589-9629.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and staff. Denise Ashurst. I've been in Boulder City since 2005. And I started the Wreath Across America Day about 12 years ago. This year, if you didn't know, we had a record 12,000 wreaths that was laid down at the cemetery on our fallen heroes' graves site. And one of the things is when they're laid, we lay them at the same time, on the same day, around the world. So everywhere we have a soldier buried, we lay a wreath. Southern Nevada is the only cemetery other than Northern Nevada, but Southern Nevada is very important to us because the cemetery is right here in Boulder City. So once we lay those wreaths, about 30 days they start to rot and turn brown, and we ask for volunteers to come out. And I just want to thank the citizens of Boulder City. We had a record number of people that came out and collected wreaths in a matter of maybe 45 minutes, 12,000 wreaths. So I want to thank Boulder City, the residents of Boulder City. I wanted to get that on record. The other thing I wanted to say is that mayor and state of the city mentioned the word together, and we had Henderson, Las Vegas, and Boulder City that came out to do that. Cox Cable came out, ROTC, Nellis Air Force Base, active duty came out. So we just had a wonderful time out there, and hopefully next year you guys will be out there. That would be great. The other thing I wanted to say is about 20 years ago, my car was broken into and I was violated. I felt violated. And when I rode around town today, I saw graffiti and some of the worst words on the wall. I know you can't answer, but I'm hoping that that gets taken off the walls immediately. Because when you see graffiti in the city, and I'm from New York, it brings the city down really quick, and you have a lot of copycats that come out. So my heart is grieved. Happy for the wreaths, grieved for the city. I hope that people would use the CFIX click, see it, and report. If you know, usually it's youth. And the one thing I say, it's all fun and games when you're young until you become an adult and you own a car or a house. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone on the phone line?
No calls.
Thank you. Anyone here like to provide public comment? Seeing none, we will close public comment. And having done that, we will adjourn the meeting. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you. Oh, man. But we'll have council report first.
We'll make it up for next meeting.
I have gotten several phone calls this week, and one person that actually came up to me about the water at the dog park at Veterans, and it is turned off until the thaw is out of the air. And so if you're going to be up at the dog park, take some water with you to take care of your puppies. And I also wanted to say that it saddened my heart too to see the graffiti around town, because it's not the city that cleans it up, it's that business owner that owns that property that now has that cost that they have to pay to have that removed off their building. And it's hard enough to survive as a small business in a small town, but then to have your property destroyed in that manner is really, it's sad. And it breaks my heart, and I hope we don't see any more of it. Thank you.
I just want to touch base on the graffiti. Yeah, it was pretty horrific seeing those pictures, and I feel bad for the residents and the business owners that had to go through that to clean it and do the repairs. And we will catch them, and so everyone be vigilant. If you see something suspicious, make the call. Let's clean up our town, keep it a clean, green Boulder City.
Just two things to report. I went to Wreaths Across America, and I said last time it was a highlight of my being able to serve here on City Council. I absolutely loved it, and that warms my heart to know that so many people came out and cleaned up, because I know they made that plea as they were placing them down, and it was just beautiful. I took my kids by there to see the wreaths and to talk about it with them, so it was just beautiful. I love that. Secondly, state of the city. Mayor did a great job. I know you don't want me to talk about you, but he did a great job. And in part because he has a great city that he's looking out for. And thankful for those of you who came and those of you who cared to listen and want to know a little bit more. Thank you for coming to listen to the state of the city. I know there are things in our city that aren't perfect. That's unfortunate, and it happens. It's reality. But I do also know that most of us care about what happens here and that we look out for each other. And I think that that's important to remember, both within the city as employees and staff, and I know us up here, and then community members. And all I know is that I'm grateful to live here.
There's nothing that can follow that. Well done, Sherry. Thank you, and everybody, for your expressions. And I ditto, amen, I agree. And well done, Mr. Mayor, in deference to you for wanting to terminate the meeting. I'll forego any report other than that. Thanks.
Thank you. The only report I have is to thank you all. Thank you, the city. Thank you for being individuals who care, and I'm not going to cry. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.